So bands, well, both those tools, portability is a huge aspect, something that you can take outside in the elements. I don't have one in right now, but in my fanny pack, I could literally fit a band in here.
There you go.
So I could literally...
That will excuse the use of a fanny pack. All right? At least you use it for fitness.
What's up, Saitos? Welcome back to the Sensei Says podcast, offering you weekly discussions with successful people through which we find some actionable advice that will help us improve our life. Thank you for choosing my podcast today. Please, if you haven't done so already, subscribe, share, comment, and review. Speaking of reviews, tune in till the very end of this interview. I've got a super cool promo for you guys concerning Apple reviews, and it's your chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. Now, this week's episode, really happy to have Coach Mike Salemi on board. He's a renowned specialist in all things training modalities, so TRX, kettlebell, Bulgarian bag, bands. All of these are tools you may use to train with, and all of these have certain aspects to them. I sure did learn a lot listening to Mike, and I hope you will too.
So how come you come to Tahoe and not race?
How can
I'm enraged.
You know, it's been a few years since I've been in Tahoe, and my buddies still give me crap for not racing, but the main thing was just to connect with people more than anything else. So maybe next year.
Absolutely. I think you're in perfect shape to do that. And talking about that, I think it's super interesting that the credo that you have and the expertise that you have in modalities. And you don't see that often in coaches where the expertise is not the athletic past per se or the academic training. It's more of an exploration on how to move. Maybe tell me a little bit about how that all came about.
Yeah, I think you said the perfect word, an exploration for movement. Like for me, it's the underlying theme behind everything has been exploring movement and therefore exploring myself. But it started in different sports. So from gymnastics to powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, kettlebell sport. So all of these like niche-based sports that not too many people would follow, I did them mainly because I love the community around it and I love what each one brought out. But it was interesting, like each one was a continuation of more and more functional training, more and more exploration. Yeah.
So you did the gymnastics as well. So you went from powerlifting. And what's the difference between the powerlifting? Because I saw that everybody knows powerlifting competitions. But kettlebell competitions? What's that about?
It's like the world's smallest sport.
Yeah. What's that about?
You know, it was interesting because I came from kettlebells from Olympic weightlifting. And so like my nature has always been like a 1 rep max type of guy.
There you go.
And kettlebell sport is 10 minutes. Well, there's a few events, but the main one I compete in, 10 minutes, unbroken, can't set the bells down. Professional division, double 32 kilos, so 72-ish pounds each hand, clean and jerk, can't stop. So only rest period is at the rack chest level or overhead. And so for me, it was out of my comfort zone. So anything more than 3 reps for me, 1, 2, 3 reps was a lot. And so to do a 10-minute endurance-based event, that's what really attracted me.
And I find training with kettlebells kind of hard. Not for the weight, but just by the kettlebell itself. On the forms, how do you go beyond that? Maybe it's my technique that's not good, but every time I'm swinging or snatching or anything, and I do a kettlebell training, I come out of there with my forearms almost as bloodied as if I were doing a 45-minute UFC fight with elbows to the forehead.
Technique is a huge part. Like I always say, like technique is the saving grace. And I mean, one of the reasons why I love connecting with martial artists and someone just like yourself is you understand the process of what it takes to move through and kind of like earn your way all the way into a black belt. And so the ranking that I've achieved is called Master of Sport, which is essentially kind of like a black belt level in the sport.
Oh.
Took me almost 8 years to get there, to reach that.
Oh, wow.
Injuries, things come along the way, but what I've really learned has been, I've always been obsessed with technique and continually refining skills. And in fact, like one of my programs that I just created is called Mastering the Kettlebell, and I was very adamant that the word be mastering because I feel like it's an ongoing process. So hopefully the technique is the saving grace, but still, I'm still working on being more and more dialed in with every single element of that lift.
So weightlifting, kettlebell, and now on to you're gonna find the word for me, but I saw you on the web. Like it's a sandbag, but with bands. What is that? I've never seen that before, but you do it perfectly, and that seems super interesting in the core wise and shoulder girdle wise. Also, a lot of technique applied to that. Well, it seems like that. So, what's that modality?
Tremendous amount of technique, coordination. It's called the Bulgarian bag.
Oh, there you go.
And so essentially it's like a sandbag that's shaped in a U, and it was designed originally by the U.S. Olympic coach for Greco-Roman wrestling, and it was designed to create really, Olympic level wrestlers. So you use, mainly what you're talking about is those rotational movements, like the 360, which is called the spin, and I'm telling you, like rotational movements, lateral movements, if you want to learn to change your level and have to continually adapt, it's a phenomenal tool and modality.
And now on to what would be the next one?
Oh, the different tools?
Yeah, the different tools. Let's talk about that.
Like, so have you seen any of the videos that I've done on the
yeah,
soupless
you've
ball?
got all
the
kinds
bands,
of torture devices.
yeah, so there's the soupless ball, which essentially looks like a big medicine ball, but it's got straps on each end. And so that tool, like the Bulgarian bag, amazing for rotation, strength, power, grip. Like usually people don't realize the Bulgarian bag that I've been using for almost 10 years, 90% of the time is just 26 pounds, 12 kilos. In kettlebell sport, I'm lifting double 32 or double 40 kilos for 5 or 10 minutes. It's the way you use the bag that makes it so unique. But the ball, 4 kilos is the main thing I'm using, but it's how you use it, how you change levels, accelerate, speed, power. It's different than anything I've ever used before.
So I think it's important to destroy a myth right here. It's not how heavy you lift, it's how good you move, always. Quality of movement over quantity of resistance.
If you can move well, I always believe if you can move well, you'll set yourself up to do whatever it is, your goal, your dream. If you want to run an obstacle course race, whatever it is, move well first, and then let everything open from there. Let the river flow from that point on.
And beyond performance, I think we're talking about here longevity of being active, like past 40, past 50. If you've invested in a quality of movement, I think, humbly, that's going to keep you away from injuries and keep you fit and in shape and in a well-being state for a long period of time.
Hell yeah, because I think like if we look at where we're at right now, we're at the Spartan race. Like why? Like let me ask you, like why do you? What's one or two reasons why you race? Like what do you get out of it?
I think it's a super potent vector of human development, and because when I was a kid, I thoroughly enjoyed American Gladiators. That's the closest I found to like doing that without looking like laser with big pump up the muscles and the long patty hair. So that's the two reasons. Number one is cool. Second was kind of lame. I'm sorry.
No, like what I heard you say was childhood, kid, play. And so that is like this sort of stuff, I feel like it brings us back to having fun and playfulness and creativity. And I feel like so much of my life was in the gym, which was great. But I feel like with these unconventional training tools, like what brings me the most joy is connecting, taking people outside, and being able to train with a Bulgarian bag or a kettlebell outside. And so even if someone is a fighter or that's where their sport is, they're a wrestler and that's indoors, as much as possible, I try and get them outside and get back to that play aspect.
So let's focus on OCR from your expertise. Any modality, any exercise, mixed up, whatever you want. 3 best you think for OCR racers out there?
So without having personal experience in OCR, I've got a bunch of buddies and have, given them some consulting. But first off, what I would say is, man, kettlebells, Bulgarian bags, and bands. For me, the Hertz bands is what I'm talking about. Some people can look at my Instagram to kind of see the movements, the positions that you're in. For me, those would be 3 amazing tools that you can accomplish so much.
So the bag, why? That would be the first one. Why do you think that's relevant?
So one, grip. So the importance of grip training, which you guys have to do all like on so many different events. Like if you look at, man, I can't even tell you, the only time when I've been teaching and out there and I'm teaching workshops and such, I always ask the class, like literally 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, I was like, okay, whose grips are just shot in 5 minutes? 99.99% of the people raise their hands with just even 17 pounds. I took big CrossFit Games competitors with just 17 pounds and smoked them in a few minutes. And the only people that say my grip is totally fine, and I know it 100% out of 100%, is manual therapists. People who work with their hands all day, massage therapists, I go, they don't raise their hand. I go, you wouldn't happen to be a massage therapist or a PT, something like that? They're like, yes, I am. So grip for you guys, absolutely key. And then again, the ability to change levels, change positions, be strong in every single movement plane is what the bag's all about.
So second would be kettlebell, and why?
Kettlebell, so with the kettlebell, one of the beautiful things is it is a freedom of movement tool. So you can train pretty much in every plane of movement. But what you can do, which is you can definitely load the Bulgarian bag, but honestly, like if I'm training with 37 pounds, that's a pretty heavy Bulgarian bag. With the kettlebells, I can load it even more. I can do double bell works. I'm dealing with awkward implement objects that I've got to move ballistically, strength, condition my shoulders. Anyone who's listening to this, if they're doing like a double kettlebell front squat, like if they pick, let's say, double 32 bells, if that's their maximum, try to do that for 10 reps and then go down to 28 kilos, then 24 kilos, then 20, then 16 and 12. Work something like that, just double kettlebell front squats, and tell me how much your shoulders, your core is just going to be lit up from that type of down pyramid. So simplicity and being able to load it a little heavier as well.
And the third one was bands.
The bands. So bands, well, both those tools, portability is a huge aspect, something that you can take outside in the elements. I don't have one in right now, but in my fanny pack, I could literally fit a band in here.
There you go.
I could literally...
That will excuse the use of a fanny pack. All right? At least you use it for fitness. All right. We're going to let it fly for that one.
My wallet and a fanny pack. So maybe my passport if I'm traveling.
There you go.
But the cool thing is, so I got a truck, and when you step out of the truck, I've got like a step like on that truck over there, and I could literally hook the band up to the bottom of my truck. I work with a lot of firefighters as well. I can literally go to the station, go anywhere, hook it up right there, and be able to train all movement planes with literally just a band. And it's so much more than just a band. It's the creativity of movement and how it forces you to be strong in awkward positions.
So 12 months from now, when using all of your tools, are you from this position to that position in terms of, are you racing or doing an interview next year?
Next year I'm racing.
All right, that's what I wanted to
The one thing I would have to throw in there is I'd have to get some sprint work in, some hiking it, stuff like that.
You're going to crush it for sure.
Really had a good time speaking with Coach Mike Salemi. Plus the venue was just magnificent. If you've never been in Tahoe, I strongly recommend it. For now, let's review what we've learned, because I sure did learn things from Coach Mike. Training modalities. Here we go. Number 1, Bulgarian bag. It's a huge bag with 2 handles if you haven't trained with that, and it's a pretty intense workout. Allows you to work in all planes of movement, and it will blow your grip strength away in like a matter of minutes. It's a really intense modality, but strongly recommend. Number 2, Mike's specialty, right? Kettlebells. So kettlebells, also portable. I mean, I did the road trip across Canada, and the only training tool I brought with me was a kettlebell, and I did all my trainings with that. So portability, I would add that, but it will help you develop your shoulder strength, your core strength, and it's a all-around good tool to have with you. Number 3, bands. So portability in number 1, benefit from bands. Mobility, stability, and don't let yourself be disappointed when you get a band exercise in your circuit routine at the gym or from your coach. Because believe me, you've got all kinds of difficulty and resistance in bands, and some of them with the exercises, they're really brutal. For myself, I learned a lot with bands, and now I'm implementing a lot of band exercises in my workout routines at my gym here in St. Julie, Canada, called Spartan Fit. Free plug, there you go. Especially for shoulder rotators, I think bands are the most relevant tool to use with that. So thank you, Mike. Like I said, sure learned a lot from you, Coach. Now, what I'd like to know is what are your favorite training modality or modalities? So please share in the comments, whether on YouTube or whichever audio platform you're listening on. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, comment, and share to a friend. Spoke earlier about a promo in relation to Apple Podcasts. So here we go. If you leave a 5-star rating and positive review on Apple Podcast by July 15th, you earn a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. So please do so. It will help a lot with the growth of this podcast. Don't forget, you can sign up to the newsletter if you want to catch the episodes fast and first. Reach me daily on my social media. It's always a pleasure to exchange tweets and IG messages and so on and so forth with you at Sensei Says Pod. And on that note, Saitos, I'll see you next week. Us, you are dismissed.
It was minus 80 up there, and we just kept waiting, and then we got in these big snowstorms, and we were in our tents for 7 days in a row, and finally we just had to call it. And that's where Mother Nature kicked in.
Back then we heard a lot of Liba and ministry, and that was inspiration to us. Through the process, we found our identity. We were also finding inspiration